Hello again, all you lovely witches and seekers. It's Ryan again, aka Dark Winter Moon, and thank you for your patience. I've been on vacation for the last little bit, so I have missed a couple of videos, but here we are again. I wanted to thank all of you for answering my survey and responding to my last video about what you would like to see on this channel. And out of that has come a lot of interesting suggestions. One of which is that you all wanted to talk more about deities. So today what I wanted to talk about is my experiences with meeting with and starting a journey with Zeus. But before we get into that, I wanted to first of all thank all of you for all the support you've given me. So whether it is following my channel and watching my videos, liking, commenting, or going to my website and checking out a tarot reading or a rune reading or any other magic or spells that I can offer you, or taking a look at my Etsy shop and purchasing something from there, or following me on Patreon. I appreciate each and every one of you, no matter how you can help or have helped. So with all of that said, how about we get into talking about what it is like to work with Zeus? The journey that I have with Zeus is a little different. It has come about as a result of my journey with Apollo, bless his wisdom, and obviously Zeus is Apollo's father. So my very first experience with Zeus came years ago when I was traveling on walkabout in Europe, and I had the opportunity to go to Athens, Greece. And I'll link a video about that up here for you all to peruse if you're interested about that story. But I was able to see the Temple of Zeus in Athens, and I sat down in front of the Temple of Zeus and had the opportunity to meditate on a park bench in the park surrounding the temple. And I had this vision of being before the throne of Zeus and of meeting him, and I felt Apollo behind me, and he was introducing me to Zeus. And it was just very much like, hey, by the way, this is my father, welcome to the family. And I just had this experience of just welcome and this sense of wisdom and power and grace coming from him. And then I snapped back out of the meditation. It was just crystal clear, as if I were actually there. And it wasn't until years later, as I was falling asleep at night, I would start to see the planetary symbol of Zeus. And I'm going to throw that up on the screen so you know what that looks like. So this is the planetary symbol of Zeus, and this is what I kept seeing in my mind's eye almost every night as I was going to bed. And seeing this symbol at night as I was falling to sleep continued for months and months and months. And with no other promptings, no other communications, just seeing that symbol. And overall, it seemed very gentle, just very like, hey, by the way, I'm here. So this continued almost every night for months. I would see this symbol, but nothing else happened. And it was kind of one of those things like, oh, I know it's Zeus. And it also just, I guess, had the deep intuitive sense that all in its own time, that what I was getting from Zeus was very much like, I'm here, and there's going to be a time when we need to connect more deeply, but for now, I just wanted to continue to remind you that I'm here. As this was happening, I had also received this commandment from Apollo, bless his wisdom, that I needed to be back home in Arkansas for midsummer last year, and that there was something very important that was going to happen with Apollo, and that we were going to reach a milestone together, and that I needed to start planning a ritual for that, for midsummer. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about what this was, because that's for another video, but suffice to say, it was a big deal, and I knew where I needed to be and when. And so it wasn't until the night before this ritual was to take place that I was hanging with some friends who I had asked to help me with this ritual, and we were talking about it. And there might or might not have been some medicinal herbs involved in these discussions and these preparations. And as I was really kind of settling into this deep meditation amidst the conversation we were having about the ritual that was to happen the next day with Apollo, I started seeing this golden shimmer, like a shield of liquid gold, just pouring down and over my head and pouring down and over my head. And it just kept happening. And it was rather emphatic. And I must say it wasn't my best mood, but I said, "Would you just stop it?" Because I knew who it was. I knew it was Zeus. And then I was like, what am I saying? Why am I being so rude to the king of the gods, to Zeus? And I said, "Oh my Lord, I'm so sorry for reacting in that way. You are trying to communicate something to me. You are trying to tell me something. And here I am being incredibly rude. I am so sorry. How can I make up for this?" And so I immediately felt his presence come back, and very much like, "Oh, it's okay, no problem." Very chill and just like understanding and unflappable. But the feeling I was getting from him was almost like this, almost overbearing, almost smothering feeling of like, "Oh, well, it's fine. No offense, none taken." And I said, "Well, how can I make up to you? What can I do?" And I saw this flash of this particular fabric that I have, and I'll put a picture of it up here too. And I was like, that's odd. Why am I seeing fabric? And I was sharing the vision after the fact with one of my friends who was helping me with the Apollo ritual, that said, "Oh, well, that makes sense because, often the offerings that were given at the temple of the ancient Greek deities were bolts of fabric." I'm like, oh, Zeus wants an offering of fabric. So it all clicked into place for me that the three people that were helping me with the ritual, two of which were husband and wife, I would ask them to aspect the husband Zeus and the wife Hera, and that those two beings, those deities, would be joining us in the ritual the next day. And so they did. And so what this ritual ended up actually being is my full acceptance into the priesthood of Apollo. And with Zeus and Hera presiding and affirming and welcoming me fully into the family of Olympus and of those deities. It was such a wonderful and beautiful experience. So humbling, so magical, so affirming. And Zeus is, I think he gets a bad rap a lot. I'm not saying that the stories about him aren't true in some ways, but I think that just like everyone else, and I've said this before, deities evolve, they change, they have positive and negative attributes. They've done things they regret or maybe don't, but they also have pasts just like we do. And my experience with Zeus has been one of wisdom and grace and kindness, very much like a grandfatherly figure, which is probably obvious to some of you, and just very concerned with me and my own growth and my own evolution. And I'm feeling more strongly, again, that I'm not going to leave Apollo behind, but I'm going to set up an altar to Zeus. And if you're not familiar with setting up an altar, I'll link that video up here. But I'm going to set up an altar to Zeus. And I'm going to see where the relationship leads. And I would love to explore it and get to know him more. And so there you have it. That's not a whole lot about Zeus because I haven't really had a whole lot of an experience with him, but I hope to, like I said, journey more. I will make another video at least about how that experience goes as soon as I have that information for you. Thank you all for all your support. Like I said, I appreciate anything you can do. So whether it is something seemingly small like following my YouTube channel, liking my videos, or commenting, those are huge deals to me. And I also appreciate all of you that will book a tarot reading with me, or will take a look at my Patreon, or will take a look at my Etsy. They're all linked below. I wish you all the best in your journeys, and have a wonderful weekend, and blessed be. Mwah. So as I was preparing this video, this beautiful afternoon thunderstorm came up and was speaking to me, and I was like, here we are, the Lord of Storms, blessed Zeus. He's putting his stamp of approval on this, so I wanted to share it with you all.